Battle for the NFC North Division title takes place this Saturday in Week 16 as the Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Baltimore to take on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we're going to break down this Week 16 matchup between Russel Wilson and Lamar Jackson. But before we get into that, we want to give a huge shout out to everybody that helped us reach our goal of 6,000 subscribers for the Tracy Take channel. Thank you to everybody. We're excited to have you here. We're going to be excited for a great 2025. This is your first time here and you like the content that you see, be sure to subscribe to the Tracy Take, tackle that bell to get notified when new videos come out. And while you're at it, leave a like, a comment, let us know who you think will win this game and why. So, Ryan, major playoff implications coming into this game right now. Pittsburgh Steelers are currently the 3 seed, but at 10-4, while the Baltimore Ravens are the top wildcard team at 9-5 as well. And depending on what the tiebreakers are, but the Pittsburgh Steelers are 3-1 in the division. Ravens are 2-2. So hypothetically, the Ravens win this game. They'll both have the same division record, but the Steelers have a better conference record. So I think that would be the next tiebreaker, but I would need to double check on the rules. Either way, though, if you're Steelers fans, let's just win the game and not worry about it. And then I think actually you would clinch the division as well, too, I think, because you'd hold the tiebreaker over the Ravens. So I think
you'd be 2 games up with 2 to go.
Yep.
With holding the tiebreaker.
Yep, a lot to play for right here. And the Steelers will most likely be out their number 1 receiver, George Pickens. He's battling a hamstring injury, so that's something that they're going to have to monitor as well. But also even more importantly, might be without TJ Watt, their star player as well, who hurt his foot. And so talking a lot about the Steelers here because they suffered that tough loss in Week 15 to Philadelphia. Really just got outclassed, and I think they were just missing a lot, I think, on the offensive side of the ball without George Pickens there. Not talking too much right now to start off with the Ravens because whenever I was looking at the Ravens game, it was going exactly how I thought the Ravens would be playing against this New York Giants team. I thought they looked phenomenal. Lamar Jackson only had a smooth 21 for 25, 290 yards, 5-touchdown game, 154.6 rating, nearly perfect. I mean, maybe
he played all right.
A little bit room for improvement.
Those 4 completions really weighing down the stats.
We want to get that rating number up a little bit more. And only 6 rushes for 65 yards. I mean, that's really kind of amateur for being really honest. So it's going to be really fun at the end of the year because Lamar Jackson's had an absolute stellar season. Josh Allen is having a stellar season as well. And it's going to be it's most interesting MVP race I've seen in a little while because both these teams, I think, absolutely deserve it. One of those guys is going to be the one that gets it. So it's going to be interesting, I think, who ends up with it. Both guys have an extremely strong case because both teams are playing extremely well at this point. But that's the Bills. Let's talk more about the Ravens and the Steelers here. And to me, it's kind of hard to really look at this game and not be super negative on the Steelers right now. I know they're 10-4, but they're coming off just a dominant loss to the I mean that in a negative way, dominant for the Eagles, where they really struggled to run the ball. I think they only had barely 200 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
Not even. Sorry, my apologies. Only 163 yards of total offense, 107 team passing yards, and 56 rushing yards as well. Going up against one of the top defenses in the league. And you go look at this Ravens team, and the one weakness that they have is going to be in that secondary, but they might be without their star receiver.
Yeah, and I mean, that's going to be a very interesting thing, especially this is a Saturday night game, so there's just one less day to fully prepare. So it'll be interesting to kind of see what goes on that Pittsburgh Steelers offense. This is a really good Baltimore front. This is one of the better fronts in the league. The secondary and this pass defense hasn't played as well for Baltimore. So having George Pickens is going to be really big for this offense to kind of just attack down the field, spread out this defense a little more. If not, they might be able to load the box up, play a little closer to the line of scrimmage, and really kind of stifle this run game and force Russell Wilson to throw to. And I don't want to say options 2 and 3 because outside of George Pickens, there aren't really many other great options except for like Pat Freiermuth, who's probably their second best true receiving target.
Calvin Austin had 5 catches, 65 yards on 5 targets today, no touchdown. Pat Freiermuth did have
that's good.
The lone touchdown today. On the season, Calvin Austin's had 452 receiving yards. And actually, who is the next guy outside of Freiermuth here? Let me quickly look this up here.
Yeah, and on the flip side too, even if TJ Watt is able to go, week coming off an ankle injury, probably going to be on a pitch count. I don't want to speculate too much. I just think, especially for a team that is destined for the playoffs this year, you want to err on the side of caution with a player of that caliber.
I don't think he'll be on a pitch count. I think at this point in the season, like if you're good to go, it's
well,
like we need you in
but
there as much as possibly can.
yeah, but okay, so like if he's playing through like an ankle sprain, maybe it's not a high ankle sprain where like he has to miss multiple weeks, but it's like something where it's like, okay, like you could go, but you could make it much worse. Like that to me is the issue with him there. We'll have to see as more details come out, but he could be on a limited effect or be in limited effect in this matchup as well.
Potentially, though, but kind of coming back to what we said earlier, and if we're looking at this and if we're looking at how the Steelers beat the Ravens earlier in the year, it was a strong defensive game as well. And if you're going to look at it, be like, if you can gut this out, like we can essentially lock up the division with this win, barring tiebreakers. But you go 2 games up, then there might be some other tiebreakers, but essentially lock up the division if you're able to fight through it. Because how the Steelers beat the Ravens earlier this year, hard-nosed defense held them, I think, to just 16 points. Had some help too. I think that was the game Justin Tucker missed a couple of field goals as well. So, but 18-16 as well. And you go and look at this, and it was 1 missed field goal, 2 missed field goals, a fumble by the Ravens, interception by the Ravens. So they shot themselves in the foot, but they were also able to hold them to these long field goals to where like they got lucky and just missed. So it's going to need to be that kind of game, I think, for the Steelers to go out and win. But without George Pickens as well, if this turns into a shootout, to me, I think this is going to favor Baltimore a lot, especially too with the explosive plays that they saw today with Rashad Bateman having a long touchdown pass. And then you're still going to have Zay Flowers. You're still going to have Derrick Henry that's going to be able to be aggressive and run as well. And if TJ Watt doesn't play, then that's just one stud defensive lineman that the Steelers are going to be out, allowing for maybe more effective running game as well.
Yeah, and that's me. I think this is going to be that 18-16 type of matchup that we saw earlier in the year, where it's going to be hard fought in the trenches. It's a typical AFC North matchup, and I do think with all the injuries, it definitely bodes in Baltimore's direction here. It is at Baltimore, correct?
Yeah.
And so like that's another thing kind of for me. And then Lamar Jackson has just been phenomenal. You mentioned his stat line today, 21 of 25 for over 290 yards and 5 total touchdowns. Like that's just crazy. Like,
yeah. And also, too, if you're still at this point in the video, we were clearly being sarcastic. So if you already started to type up a comment earlier about Lamar Jackson's great game, just want to make that very clear now.
Yeah.
And so if you're seeing some of the potential comments or trolls in the comments, we love all of you and we appreciate you. We love some of you more than most, but I digress. But yeah, he's playing an amazing game, and this entire Steelers defense is going to need TJ Watt to go and play if he's not able to go. So that's as the week goes on, I think that's going to be something that we need to monitor. But if we're looking at this though, and as we saw today with how great this Philadelphia defensive front was able to just stymie this Pittsburgh Steelers offense, and admittedly to the statistically and also just probably overall the secondary for the Eagles is better and playing better than the Baltimore Ravens. That being said, though, I wouldn't be surprised if Russell Wilson gets less than 200 passing yards again as well. Actually, I don't even think he hit that much earlier in the season. He had 181 team passing yards as well. They hit 303 total yards of offense. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again, maybe in less than 150 as well. Just without their number one weapon, this offense definitely has been struggling because Pickens got hurt in it was week 13 against the Bengals, correct? I believe it was.
Yeah. I thought he'd been playing through it for a little bit.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it's that one because you go look to last week's win. They only had 147 passing yards against Cleveland, then only 107.
Yeah, it was. 12-1 was the last game he played. Looks like.
Yeah. So for me, I definitely think that's going to be another tough passing game, I think, for this Pittsburgh Steelers team, which sucks for them because that's probably the weakest thing, I think, on this Baltimore Ravens defense. as I've mentioned, as they are 31st in total passing yards allowed, 258.93 passing yards allowed. Show you how bad they are. I know they were up a bunch. They still gave up 275 passing yards to Tommy DeVito and Tim Boyle today, which is
That's pretty bad.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Sorry. That's a mistake. That was Lamar Jackson's stat line. They only had 181.
Okay. I guess that game was over. They just went into prevent and let them kind of do what they want within reason.
But I was looking at the wrong stat line. So never mind. So better passing performance by that. And actually, I say that now kind of looking at some of their passing defenses, they have played over these past 4 games. They've only given up at most 202 passing yards. Now that was against the Chargers. And then the Pittsburgh game is in there. So they have been giving up less passing yards. They gave up a lot earlier on in the year. So maybe they are improving a little bit. Maybe also too, some of these passing offenses they've been playing haven't been nearly as great. I still feel there's weaknesses. Like that is a weakness for this Baltimore Ravens team. And for the Steelers, with not having George Pickens there, the only guy that could really stretch out the defense, I think that's going to be a huge detriment for them. So for me going into this, I think Baltimore is going to tie the division. We'll have to look at tiebreakers. I don't believe that they will take the division lead just yet, just because of tiebreakers. So we'd have to kind of wait and see.
Yeah,
but I think they're going to tie up the records at least. Both teams are going to go to 10-5 on the season here with the Baltimore win on Saturday.
Yeah, no, I'm going with Baltimore too. I think that's going to be a really good. I think it's going to be a really good matchup. But I think Baltimore just edges them out just due to some of the injuries. I still think T.J. Watt is going to be. He'll definitely be limited all throughout the week, but I think he might be in a limited role this week. I know it's a big division game and you want to win, but you have the Chiefs the week after this, and then you have the Bengals the week after that, another division game. And I think saving TJ Watt for those matchups is going to be just as important for this one right here. I know it's easy to get short-sighted on that. So I just feel like for me, the Ravens are going to be the better team today or in this game, and that'll be it.
I like it. It's going to be good.
Yep. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap this one up here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go ahead and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead in this AFC North battle. Will it be the Pittsburgh Steelers? Will it be the Baltimore Ravens? And that we'll see you guys next time.